being 10 years on YouTube, how do you avoid being in the YouTube conflict? How do you avoid it?
Oh boy, yeah, this is a fun one. And we can finish out on this. Is drama in the YouTube scene, man. It's weird because there's parts of it where Ricky and I have always stayed out of drama on YouTube. That we just always have. That's been our thing.
Yeah.
We've always been about having fun. That's just been the motive for us of why we do this. But there is that question sometimes, like if you even go into right now, like the current thing, it's like DK Oldies, right? Like I don't even watch those videos. I'll be honest. Like what people are saying about it. But I know right now, like that's where it's at. Like everyone's talking about DK Oldies. And there is an important question to ask yourself, like, can it be important though? Is this stuff important to talk about? Whatever they're talking about, maybe it is important to the community. Maybe it's not. So we kind of, the way we did it, we had to make the decision like, okay, well, even if it is, we're necessarily not going to talk about it unless it was like detrimental to what we do. And to be honest with what we do, it was never buying games online. No. Right? That was never detrimental to our show. It didn't really pertain to us. And then there's me, who also creates content. I understand content. I know, and I'm going to probably make some people upset here. For sure, without a shadow of a doubt, a ton of the DK Oldies, anti-whatever it is, are doing it for views. Right? And that's where it becomes, where there's something to be said about, I feel like, the people who are doing it because they care, right? And that's important. People who run stores, people who do online buying, people who know what a certain console is supposed to look like or feel like or whatever it may be, know things about it, the intricacies of selling. And I know those people are out there, and I commend those people doing videos like that. But I do know, I'm well aware that there's many people out there just doing it strictly like, well, if we put DK Oldies in our thumbnail, heck, maybe we'll even do it for our video on this topic because,
do you think it's a little clickbaity in the sense of like, are you shedding more attention to it by rehashing that type of topics?
Yeah, it's definitely clickbaity, but I'll also be honest that a lot of YouTube, you kind of have to be clickbaity to an extent. I think that a YouTube thumbnail should be an extension of what does happen, but of course it's not reality. I mean, if it's always an extended, more hyper sensationalized version of what really did happen.
Yeah.
People will put, I bought a DK Oldies console and it was broken, and in the thumbnail it's on fire, and it's like, well, I'm sure it didn't catch on fire while you were playing it.
I still don't get how it got so popular, though. I'm like, all right, I see the title. I already know what it is. Like,
well, I mean, it's also like, it's also like in the same aspect, like if you go into GameStop and they give you 17 cents for a game that you bought for $60 like a week before, and you're like,
that's true.
And you're just shattered. You're like, oh my God, I just made the worst investment of all time, right? And it kind of throws into the fact that it's like, are we like shedding too much light by talking about certain spaces, right, on people?
Well, I think that what we kind of had to decide is that I'll never of course we'll you got being on YouTube, if you want people to watch your video, you kind of have to not be clickbaity, but something that's interesting, right? But I've always felt for us that I've never wanted to be like, my method of getting more viewership is going to be by putting someone else's name down, right? So to say, even though it is, and again, it may be justified. This isn't me saying those videos aren't justified, because I'm sure many of them are, but I've never felt comfortable being like, and I know I could get views if I do this or do that, but I've never been a fan of like bringing down someone else in order to make, and again, there's something to be said about it, but I've never wanted to be like, if I just bring this down, I'll be elevated. You know what I mean? It just never sat right.
Do you think it benefits the community in the end, like talking about like these type of things?
I don't know, because I feel like if people are buying, again, this isn't me defending, I don't watch the videos.
Yeah.
I feel like if people that are buying from DK Oldies anyway aren't necessarily the collecting hardcore scene, right? I feel like those people,
they're just trying to get
they know how to collect. More than likely, I won't for sure put it past that, but I feel like maybe it's more like the people who are just like, oh, shoot, I want to buy a game online, and they don't know what the prices may or may not be going for out on other websites. They come through it. It comes in their ecosystem of, they search video games, that comes up, and that's where they want to buy it.
And Chris, coming up on the topic of like stores running social media accounts, do you think that you're going to be in the upcoming events, try to do the same thing, like get in the YouTube space? Other than, I know you have an Instagram and you kind of promote there, but how else would you think that you're going to be able to like expand your brand?
TikTok.
Oh,
I love how you said it too.
he's
It's
calling
like
it the man bun man.
stared me directly in my eyes.
We actually did get on TikTok
Ooh.
recently. I was like, okay, we're going to try this out. We've thousands and thousands of views on
Wow.
TikTok.
So-
We just make silly little TikTok videos.
Okay, like are they fun? Are they?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all, no matter what, can say those DK oldies, their videos. They were. I get why they went. They were fun. They were entertaining. They were silly. Whatever that may be. But are you guys going to try to go that route, like with marketing, so to say?
Not like, I think why DK Oldies, and not to go down this whole road of the DK Oldies thing, but maybe why they were a center of attention possibly is because they did have a YouTube channel, from my
Yes,
understanding. I didn't
think.
watch it that much. I've seen some clips of it here and there, but I wonder if that's what kind of drew some attention. Like, okay, they were just a reseller online for the longest time. Nothing ever really happened with them. Then out of the kind of the blue, and I could be wrong on this, but I think not out of the blue, but some point, the guy Joey, I think, who's like the face of DK Oldies, I guess he's not the owner, started making YouTube videos. It seemed like it drew a lot of attention to them, maybe.
Yeah.
Which is why they were kind of like more of like out there, because there was a face to kind of go after versus just some online warehouse selling games.
Which is why people will come at it. Not saying, again, I have to reiterate a million times that I'm sure there are whatever.
We don't really watch this content.
Exactly.
So.
But with something that's elevated, right? It's an easy way. If Ricky and I went viral on our channel for something in the next 2 years and we just blew up to be a 10 million channel plus, more people automatically are just going to come out with the negatives about us because you're going to use my likeness to get views. There was a song I heard I can't even remember who said it, but it was like a quote from his song. And he said, how's a man going to say I'm clickbait if he's going to use this face to get clicks on his page? And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's
good
heavy.
insight.
That's a heavy thing to say.
And so for me as like a store, I myself personally, like, I think I made one YouTube video like 10 years ago. I think it was about like
When YouTube started.
I think it's on there. PS2 reselling prices or something like that.
Shout
It was
out to
about the
that
prices of PS2 games. I think it's live. One video ever.
Yeah.
But myself personally, I'm more of a behind the scenes guy. Like I like running the business. I like the operations. I let my guys handle the social media. This is other than like the videos with you guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't generally come out. I'll do some podcasts like this, mostly about the expo and do a few videos and stuff, but I don't generally like voicing or coming out too much as like the face of my business.
Got it.
Because I want to protect my business. I don't want
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's how DK Oldies, and not to say you shouldn't do it, but that might have been why they were a target. You know,
Better hope this podcast doesn't
I
explode.
know, I'm like putting myself out there as I'm saying. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, these are all the things I haven't done here.
You got to look at it like this. I mean, Retro Rick just attained a store, right? And so he's kind of showing the behind the scenes of that. Do you think you might do that same route possibly?
No, I mean, I've thought about that. Like I was like, oh man, Rick is killing it because he had the presence of the viewership of the YouTube. And my understanding from talking to Rick, I'm good friends with Rick too, is that his business has been incredible with the new store that he bought. And I think the platform of YouTube has certainly helped him.
Kick rocks, Rick.
Kick rocks,
we
Rick.
always
Get out of here,
joke,
Rick.
we always joke for those that don't know. Again, us all being very similar in what we collect. Him and Rick are like, whenever Ricky and I get cool stuff, he will reach out and so will Retro Rick and be like, all right, who gets to buy it from them? And Chris gets mad when Rick takes it and we make a joke that his thing is kick rocks, Rick.
Kick rocks, Rick. I look at the camera. Kick rocks, Rick. I'm buying this sign.